Hey, we're going to interview my good friend Camille Kennard, who is a licensed clinical social worker. We're going to talk about how to uncover limiting beliefs. How is it we can do some amazing and sometimes unexplainable things, like heal our own bodies by the power of our thoughts? Mother's intuition, the law of attraction. Can we really tap into our subconscious mind? Can we really create our own realities? It begs the question, are we novice gods? Okay, we have a repeat show here. We have Camille Kennard. If you caught her in the last episode, you got to learn about how to create happiness in your life. Now we are going to talk about how to uncover limiting beliefs. I love this because to me it's all about belief. What you believe matters. What you believe actually manifests and expands in your life. And so I want you to really pay attention to these beliefs that you've had inside and that you haven't really checked for a while. And there could be some beliefs that are limiting you. So Camille, tell us a little bit about what limiting beliefs are and then how you uncover what those are that are limiting you.
So I love that you're talking about this because I think for a lot of us, we create beliefs that hold us back from our potential. And we may not even know they're there. It's kind of sometimes a subconscious thing that people have created. I'm not good enough, or I can't do that, or I'm not smart. And they may have even created them when they were younger as a child. And so being able to uncover those beliefs and recognize they're there, one of the first things that I do with my clients is I have them notice when they are emotionally triggered in a negative way, right? So when they're angry or sad or scared. Because those usually tell us a little bit of something about what we believe. So I have them kind of look at those times that they feel like, oh, I feel angry every time someone tells me, gives me advice or tells me, gives me instruction. I feel that. And you've probably seen people where they maybe have a reaction to something. And so if they have a reaction like that, for instance, we look at, well, what could it be that you're believing about yourself in that incident? Are you believing I'm not smart enough, or other people are smarter than me, or I'm not good enough? What is it that you could be telling yourself? And a lot of times for people, they don't even know that they've been telling themselves something for so long. I actually went through this in my own life. I had been telling myself when I was a teenager that my body was not okay the way it was. And there's probably a lot of teenagers out there who have told themselves something like this. And I would compare myself and say, I'm not as good as other people. I'm not worthy of love. So these were some beliefs that I had, and I didn't really know how I could uncover those until I noticed that every time I was with other people that I felt like were shining at that moment, I felt less than. And so I looked at that and I said, what is it that I'm believing that's the reason I'm feeling sad right now, or that I'm feeling not good enough? Because usually it's about us, it's not about them. Yeah. We want to put it on the other person and say it's their fault that I feel this way, but that's our defense mechanism. So if we can look inside ourselves and say, and not in a shameful way, but in a, I'm just wondering, what is it I'm believing about myself right now that's causing this emotional reaction that I'm having right now? So that's a lot of what I do with my clients, is help them look at those beliefs, uncover them, and then when we know what the belief is, we know how to change it. Right? But we need to first know, what is that you're believing about yourself that is causing this distress, this angst, this discomfort in your life.
Okay, now you were talking about kind of a do-it-yourself approach, which is really hard, I think.
Yeah.
To spot your own weaknesses, I think is really hard. What is something that people can do that will help them do this faster?
So, I'm a coach and a clinical social worker, so I feel like getting some support from someone else, and it's a person that cares about you, and it could be a good friend, but I would say a lot of times it's someone who sees the good in you, but also can give you some feedback on, oh, did you notice that you get really upset when this happens? Yeah. And that may not be the best to have it come from your spouse or someone like that, but maybe coming from someone like a coach or someone that can kind of see outside of the picture. That's what I do a lot of times with my clients. I just say kind of for instance, I wonder what it is that you're believing in that. And then they tell me, oh, I think I'm believing this about myself. Okay, would you like to continue believing that? How does it feel to believe that?
Belief is a choice. Very important.
Yeah, and it's a kind of an eye-opener for people because they have felt like a victim to their beliefs and their thoughts. And they thought that they're really real. You know, I have a client right now who said that she has always felt like she's not okay because of her weight. That it's not okay to be the weight she is. And she has stacked up a belief on that it's not okay to be this weight and that people judge her because of that. And I said, is that true or is that a belief? And we started talking about it's a belief system that I'm not good enough because of this situation about myself, or that being how I am is not okay. So it's really exciting when people can start to see, okay, I have these things I've been telling myself, and what if I can stop believing what I think? You know, I have this little sticker on my car that says, don't believe everything you think. Because if we do believe that everything we think, then that causes distress. And sometimes what we're thinking is what we call in psychology like a thinking error or an irrational belief. And so when people can recognize, oh, this is a belief that I have that has been limiting me and holding me back, you know, I'm not confident because I believe that how I am is not okay. If I can let go of that and I can say, I'm beautiful the way I am, I'm smart, it builds your confidence, it builds your ability to do things. I mean, probably both you and I as entrepreneurs, there's beliefs we still are working with in being in front of other people and what that's like, you know, so
being in front of a camera.
Being in front of a camera. So if you can look at getting a coach or someone who can kind of help you see this. And the biggest thing I say to my clients, even with our first meeting, is just notice throughout your week when you get frustrated. When that person cuts in line, when your spouse says something to you, when your kids do something, just notice your emotional reaction. When you're fearful, when you're sad, whatever that might be, because there's an underlying reason and a belief that you have that's creating that. And some of our beliefs are very scary. They're very fearful, right? And if we can say, oh, that's just a belief, it's almost like I can take that out and not believe that anymore. I can believe something different. It gives us a lot of freedom, right? And empowerment that we can choose something different. So I love helping my clients do that.
Yeah, I remember I was on a coaching call where I was being coached. I had a coach helping me, and she said, Scott, you have a problem with selfishness. And I said, no, I don't. And I was so defensive immediately. I hate selfishness. It's the worst thing ever. And she said, yeah, that shows you have a problem. You have a belief system about selfishness. And because she was an outsider looking in at my life, who cared about me, who respected me, she was able to see some of my belief systems that were completely blind to me. So getting a coach, listening to a friend who is willing to tell you, just like it is, being very straight with you, is really helpful to be able to see, those blind spots. And then once you get those, once you kind of figure out where your belief system is maybe not as helpful or as constructive as you want, you can kind of track back to where that started. And for me, I had this belief story that started when I was like 7 years old. And it was amazing to figure out how that had started and how I had repeated that story over and over and over again through the years. So, getting a coach is just an awesome way to really, really move forward and kind of remove some of those limiting beliefs.
Yeah, it really opens things up, and it kind of lets go of some of those barriers you've had. And sometimes people will come in, because I'm a therapist and a coach, so I do counseling as well as coaching, and they'll say, oh, I feel bad that I'm here in this seat because I have all these problems. And I say, actually, the people who are in this seat are the ones who are able to look at their lives and have insight and start making changes to feel better, to emotionally and mentally feel better. So, getting that coach or that person that can help guide you along, I kind of think of it as they're companioning you. They're really helping you become your best self. It's really exciting. I know coaching has been a great thing for me to help me with some things that have been limitations for me. And then when you know that these aren't limitations anymore, it's like, I can do whatever I want. I can start that business. I can, have that relationship that I want to have. Whatever it is that you guys are desiring, you can have it. And I think that's really exciting.
Okay, now I have one more question for you, because I can't let her go, because she has such great insight for us. But you talked about recognize your emotions and to pay attention to those. I personally believe that our emotions are the keys to helping us to where we really have our power, our great power. And as we recognize these emotions, what do we do with them? How can we use our emotions? And do we have control over our emotions? Do we want to suppress them? Do we want to have them flourish? What are your thoughts on emotions? Because it sounds like that's a big part of your practice.
Yeah, so we do have some say in our emotions, but this is what I tell a lot of my clients, and I've worked with children and adults, and I say everybody has emotions, right? Mm-hmm. We all have anger, we all have sadness, we all have fear. It's part of being human, and it's okay, right? But emotions are information. So if I feel angry when I'm in a line at the grocery store and it's taking too long, it's information about me. Right? If I am fearful when I go to public speak in front of other people, it's information. So I think it's really helping you guys to see that when you have these emotions come up, they're not bad. It's what we do with the emotion. So it's what I do with my anger. If I let my anger out in road rage, probably not the healthiest way to handle it. But if I express my anger and say, I'm really frustrated and I'm upset about that, that's okay to express what's going on with you. And a lot of times what I tell my clients is emotions are like the waves in the ocean, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes they're big and then they go back down. So our emotions are not facts. They come and they go. And we may feel really angry or really scared at one moment, but then it goes. I always feel scared before I speak in public, but as soon as I get out there and I start to connect to the audience, that goes away. And that's really exciting to think of. That these emotions are there for information, and it's what we do with the emotion. So we're going to have the emotion, and that's okay. Happiness, sadness, fear, whatever it might be, that's it. The emotion is okay. It's what do we do with it afterwards that's constructive, that's helpful to us. Rather than being reactive, we respond, and we notice it. It's kind of like we're standing outside ourselves going, I notice I'm feeling sad or I'm feeling angry. What can I do to help myself, right? If there's a sadness or a grief, maybe you need some downtime. Maybe you need to journal it. Maybe you need to, express the anger. Maybe, it's a conversation. There's things you can do to work through your emotions without suppressing them or reacting. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally don't suppress them.
Yeah.
And make sure you check out the other video that Camille and I have done that talks about how to create happiness in your life. Because you really want to be able to express, you want to feel life in just the fullest expression of life that you can. You want to feel all the range of emotions. And so if you can learn that you can actually turn these on and create things in your life, that's just wonderful. Just really creates abundance for you.
Yeah. I love that. And everybody, we can have the life we want to have. It's what we focus on that grows. And so focusing on what you are and who you want to become will help you feel more happiness and joy in your life. So it doesn't mean we won't have bad days or times that are hard for us, but we'll be able to be more resilient and have a more joyful and satisfying life.
Sounds pretty good, huh? Make sure you stick with this. Hit subscribe right now so that you can catch more of these shows. We're going to ask a lot of more questions because I think there's a lot we can uncover about how to be our true best full selves and really enjoy the fullness of life right now. Are you looking to make the world a better place? Visit me at scottwilhite.com and sign up to become an Impact Insider. I'll keep you updated on the topics and ideas that may help you become your best true full self.